Welcome to What in the Anime, your weekly anime podcast. Now, here's your hosts in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome, everyone, to our weekly anime podcast where we talk about absolute nonsense about anime. Fortunately, I had to bring along Dustin with me.
What's up?
How's it going today?
Good. What's your name?
My name's Tyler. You guys should all know that by now. I'm more important, so.
No.
Yeah, well, no, I'm going to lead it off today. We have just a couple things to talk about. This will be pretty cut and dry. We're going to talk about the Toei Hack update. We're going to have a 2v2 trash character debate. So this whole episode is going to be kind of a debate between me and Dustin. It's what we like to do.
We like to fight.
We're also going to do a 3v3 anime battle like we did last week. So more characters, give Dustin a chance to redeem himself.
I'm winning
Probably
this
not
week.
going to happen. Probably not going to happen.
I'm winning this week.
No. And then to top off our episode, we're going to do Ranking of the Kings review, since that is getting the most hype out of almost all these animes, which is crazy. It came out of nowhere for me.
Prince Boji.
Yeah, that's King Boji. So, you want to start off the hack there, boy?
Yeah, so we got an update on the Toei animation hack that happened. First, we found out that it was a ransomware attack. But the biggest bit of news is we are having our first show episode since the hack happened. It is going to be One Piece's 1014th episode. It's the first episode in 6 weeks because of the hack. It'll be on April 17th, so about a week after you hear this episode. And the main reason I want to talk about this is because, this hack, it delayed One Piece, it delayed Dragon Quest, Delicious Party Precure, Digimon Ghost Game, and most important to me, Dragon Ball Super Superheroes anime film.
This hack is something out of an anime. Who would do this? Like,
They're a villain.
I understand they want money or whatever the hell they want, but this doesn't benefit any of us.
Yeah, that's what ransomware is. Flipping, they're basically, hey, we got your files on hijack, pay us money, and we'll give them back to you. But
how long do you think the Super movie Dragon Ball is going to be delayed?
So I'm not sure, because the original article says indefinitely. So that doesn't tell us much. That was on the Japan release. We were supposed to have a release in the summer for the US. So hopefully we hear soon if they either change the release date or if we at least still get a US open. Because we already weren't going to until summer. So there's a chance that they could still drop it in the US, even if they don't in Japan. But I'd be surprised if they don't want to still put this in theaters if they can. So
they're going to, but the problem I'm seeing is they had to have already had all their merchandise and everything else, shipped out. We're gonna get so many leaks on all of everything's gonna be spoiled to us before this movie comes out. And Dragon Ball does a really good job at usually hiding that kind of stuff, and we're just gonna get bits and pieces of it. And hopefully it just doesn't. It's not gonna ruin the movie, but hopefully it doesn't take 6 months or something like that.
I hope not. I hope that since it was not even 2 full months for the One Piece episode, I'm hoping that, I hope we get it in July. We were supposed to get it in June. Maybe we get it July, August. That'd be cool. Still get a summer movie.
Yeah, we definitely been waiting for it, especially all the, if it's going to be about Gohan and Piccolo again. Everyone was getting a little excited for that. I know I was.
Oh, yeah. Those are my 2 favorite characters in the show next to, Prince Vegeta. But I've been looking forward to that movie. I love superheroes, and they're doing a superhero Dragon Ball Super movie. That's right up my alley.
Yeah, I'm curious where they're gonna go, if they're gonna use an old villain, new style, or if they're gonna do a whole new take on it. So as long as Broly's in it, I think that's gonna be pretty sweet.
Yeah, for sure. Broly's definitely gone up there on the list lately.
Yeah. So, besides that, I know we wanted to kind of start off here with our 2v2 trash. So basically it's our most hated characters out of all of anime that we could think of. We're going to basically debate. I'm going to put out my character. He's going to put out his. We're going to see whose character is hated more. So we have a little bit more different takes on this. I don't know. I still don't know who you chose.
No, and we did this kind of last minute. So I don't know if this is exactly my absolute top most hated characters, but it was the two characters that popped into my head first, and that's what I'm going with. And there's one that I don't think is hated, but okay, so I'll save that one. My number one is Light Yagami from Death Note.
Yeah.
He is the trashiest of trash characters. I mean,
Yeah.
Do you want me to get into it now?
You know,
or you want to give me yours?
It, but I could give you mine.
Yeah, let's hear yours so we can
are
debate
ready?
these two. Yep.
All right, I think I have a better one than you do.
Okay.
I also had Light Yagami.
Did you really?
Yeah. I mean, so if you guys don't know who he is, I mean, if you haven't seen Death Note by now, he's the main character of a, you know, it's this psychological thriller. He finds a notebook. It's basically a book that allows him to write a person's name, and thus killing said person, he can control just how they die. He is just
trash.
He's so spiteful. I just,
in my notes, I put up stuck up jerk, thinks he deserves to be a god. He uses people, and he starts killing innocents when they start to get close to figuring out who he is. Like, all around, he is just the flippin' worst.
Well, I mean, besides being, you know, extremely intelligent, you know, when he loses his memory,
mm-hmm.
I loved his character at that point. Like, I love Death Note, you know, as a whole. Like, about it. Me and my girlfriend, we binged it in just a couple nights. It was so good, you know, up until after the L arc. But seeing his character after his memories get lost, he's just so innocent and so, like, wants, you know, everyone to, I don't know, just try to solve the crime or do whatever he can for his father. And once he learns who he is, he's there's nothing good about him.
Yep. Well, and I think that's like, because at the very beginning of the show, he wasn't too bad. And overall, I think just power corrupted him to the point where he literally thought he was a god. What they call him in that, Akira or whatever?
Yeah, Akira.
Yep.
Yeah, Akira was the... Well, I mean, and I don't know how a normal person in today's society, if they have that power, what they're going to do with it. I could see them turning into that kind of... having that much power, someone's going to eventually become so evil because you think nothing can stop you. But I mean, just the fact that he had no compassion for anybody, he was just so selfish, and just the way he treated L at the end of all that is, I don't know.
I loved L.
I hated his character Light so much throughout the whole show. It was so cringy of me watching, but I just loved Death Note as a whole that it was like, all right, what's gonna happen next? You know, how, you know, at first, you know, of course he's just killing these criminals.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like that, and then all of a sudden it's just killing anybody who tries to stop him. And then the fact that he just basically uses his followers as a way to keep living, and he can just keep killing them. And the way he uses what's her name, Misa. Yeah, it was just incredible. Like, she's just all head over heels for him.
Yep, that was in my note too, is how much he uses Misa, because she seemed like such a nice, like, girl for the most part. Obviously she was a little mental to be falling for a dude who's going around just murdering people left and right, but he really abuses her. Like, you can tell he doesn't like her the whole time. Mm-hmm. He has no interest in her, and he just uses her love for him to get whatever he wants. I could not stand Light. I liked L, and even after the L arc, I actually did enjoy Nier. I didn't think it was needed to swap over to Nier instead of L, but
the problem after
Nier.
L, the problem after L is like they were just trying to find a way to end it. Like, okay, who can we just bring in this? If Nier would have been in the show the entire time, just even little bits and pieces,
like, right? Like he was like communicating with somebody for help on the project or something.
Yeah, just throw his name out there. Like, one kind of thing I can think of is Jujutsu Kaisen throwing Yuta. Mm-hmm. You know, throwing his name out there in the anime. You might not recognize it throughout watching the show until you actually watch the movie, but at least you're like, oh, okay, his character actually didn't just come from nowhere.
Right.
And so Nier just, to me, unless there's something I missed, that whole Nier arc was completely off the walls. Like, I understand they needed someone to eventually stop Light, but, and I think, like you said, if his character was in the beginning, Nier would have been perfectly fine.
Yep.
He was just he's just a copycat. He's just the same, you know?
He was a younger L. But
Yeah.
I loved him. I don't know. I liked him.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, what's your number 2 then? Since we kind of tied on that one,
We're not gonna.
something else.
I doubt we're gonna tie on this one. Because I know that this is actually a Naruto character. Is yours a Naruto character?
No.
Okay, cool. So we're definitely not gonna tie. I know that a lot of people like this guy, and I don't know what it is, but ever since the very first time I saw him in the show, I've never been able to stand him. And
If you say Sasuke, I'm gonna slap you.
no, he was up there though, but no.
Okay. I thought you didn't like him.
He's not my favorite, honestly. I don't care much for Sasuke, but the person I hate the most in Naruto is Rock Lee.
Yeah, you're alone on that one.
I know, and
He's
I hate to say it, but I got reasons, and we'll
near.
debate it.
No. He's near and dear to my heart. I mean, how many times did you have to sit through his story? How precious was
Because of you?
No, because because of the anime. they showed his background like every episode. It was, oh my god. But besides that, I love Rock Lee, so you can stand on that island by yourself.
I got my reasons. Do you want to hear him now?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, so his suit sucks. The spandex green weird suit, I do not like it.
No, him and Naruto bonded off of that.
Gosh dang it. I find him to be really annoying. His voice, like the voice actor for the English, I just can't stand the voice acting in it. I do not like the bug eyes, the bushy brows, and the bowl cut. Like,
Dude,
his hair
literally
a bowl
says
cut.
ninja in it. His hair literally says ninja in it.
Cool. It's a bowl cut. It's like
you don't like
Mandrake
my guy?
from Dexter. No. My guy, I dislike not nearly as much as Rock Lee, but
They are the comic relief.
I get that, and I don't know. I just can't stand him. I don't know. I like the only saving grace for me with Rock Lee is I did find it really cool when he does that drunk fighting the very first time.
Yeah, okay. Well,
That was cool.
the only part that I don't like about Rock Lee is I think this is true. I could go back. Did he ever win a fight? I don't think he ever won a fight.
I don't know. I feel like he always gets saved by Neji.
As much as they like hyped his character up in like the middle of the arcs of his fights, I don't think he ever came out as the winner.
I mean, the very first time he meets Sasuke, he kind of kicks his butt for a second before they get stopped.
That stopped. Yeah, that's before Sasuke learns, kind of no one knew who Rock Lee was.
Yeah, no one needs to.
Yeah, I don't know. I like his character, but that's
I get it,
But
and I know a lot of people do because I have a few friends other than you that love Rock Lee. I just never bonded with that character. I never liked him. My favorite character was always Shikamaru, and I liked Kiba. And Jiraiya.
The problem that I had with Rock Lee is just, I think is the only thing is in Boruto. He becomes kind of just a worthless side character. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess a lot of those characters did, but I think
everyone except for like Shikamaru, really, because you see a lot of him
Yeah.
because he's with Naruto every time.
But I have a lot of problems with Shikamaru too, because even in like the manga for Shikamaru and Boruto, like he's portrayed as this smart, one of the most intelligent in the Leaf Village, and I feel like he's getting outsmarted in Boruto all the time, or he just doesn't know what to do. I feel like he's always trying to do for the sake of the village, and it always turns out wrong for him.
Yep.
But no, I have one that I think you know what I'm gonna pick, because this character, I think every time I see her character on the screen, I yell.
Okay.
I want her to die so badly.
Can I take a
hate
guess?
that. Yeah.
Okay, I just heard.
Yeah, you heard it. Okay,
I heard
so
it.
yeah, it's Gabby. It's Gabby from Attack on Titan. I cannot stand her. She is literally the biggest hypocrite. Her character, like, she doesn't even need to be in that show. I don't even care too much that she, everything that happened with Sasha.
I do.
I mean,
I love Sasha.
No, that's not even the reason, but it's just like the fact that I don't know. You go on. What do you think of her?
Okay, so the first part and half of the second part, I absolutely couldn't stand her. Thought she was trash. Absolutely hated her. But near the end of part two, she kind of starts to realize, that she is being a hypocrite about that, and that she's sitting there thinking these people deserve to die, and they haven't done anything wrong. And I think she starts to see that, and I feel like as a character, she starts to grow a little bit. So I don't.
Yeah,
She's not my
I,
most
I
hated for that reason, because it looks like she's starting to have some growth, and I want to see if she continues that. If she doesn't continue and she like reverts back to being a total a hole, then yeah, I'll agree. But other than that, like if her character continues to change, I'm fine with her.
yeah, but the way she comes off, it's just, so the way she like, I don't know, when people, how do I put this? She sees her people getting killed, and she gets so mad, right?
Yep.
And but then when she's trying to get the attack titan, and she sees her friends die and all this other stuff, does not care. Like she just wants to be or not the attack titan, sorry, the armor titan. She wants to, doesn't care if they die. But all of a sudden you get Eren come in killing her people, and all of a sudden she has some self pride in her people. And she just, I don't know. For being a 12-year-old and being able to have no guilt or trauma for killing these people, I feel like her character's so blah. I feel like it's just out there.
No, and I definitely see it. I'm not trying to overly defend her. Like, I definitely don't like her as a character. I just think that there is like starting to become a redeeming quality to her, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to erase the fact that she is such a jerk at the beginning.
And the difference between her and like the other characters and like Reiner, the fact that he has flashbacks and regrets for everything that he does, you can kind of like understand his character, and you can, even if he's still doing the same old, Reiner things, Gabby's completely different. She has no reason to be in any of this other than, she's mad that, the devils killed her people.
Yep.
Even though they were doing the same thing just to try to get I don't know. I have a lot of problems with her character, but.
No, I get it. I definitely get it. I'm not, like I said, I do agree that she is trash. I think Rock Lee is more trash.
I mean, very well could be. I mean, you're like I
this
said,
is supposed to be a debate, so I'm just gonna be like, I win.
Yeah, you're on that island by yourself.
I know, and that's probably why I lose.
For real debates, let's make the real debate about our 3v3.
Real debate time. I went first last time. I threw out my guy first, so it is your turn. So I can play off of yours.
Okay, I'll do it. I don't know a lot about this character. Like I said, so what we do is we go do like an anime generator. We get 3 characters. We the very first 3 characters that pop up on that screen, either we do a little bit of research if we don't know who they are, or if we know, we just talk about them. And my first character, I actually have not started this anime. I've tried to. I just have so many on my list, and I'm probably going to get hated for it. He's from Bleach. So, and I'm not even sure how much you watched Bleach, but his name is...
I've hardly watched any, honestly.
Yeah, his name is Toshiro Hitsugaya. He's the captain. He's a captain. Toshiro possesses incredible spiritual power, with his spiritual energy being described as a very large and cold, and he's very good at hiding it. So he has the ability to kind of sneak up on people frequently. Toshiro also possesses a mastery of swordsmanship, only using the released abilities of his Zanpakuto. There's different ways to say it, but basically that's just kind of like what his sword. I'm pretty sure it's like the soul in a sword or something like that. He's considered like a child prodigy with his intelligence. He was able to graduate the Shinigami Academy in only 1 year. He possesses a great battle instincts and skills to analyze any of his opponent's abilities, and then he can kind of think of a strategy. So, in my eyes, it kind of looks like he's kind of like that your Shikamaru kind of type.
Right. Okay. So this is going to be a tough one to debate, because I don't know the power scaling much in Bleach. But you said he's good at sword fighting?
Yeah, I have a long list of different techniques you can do and other things. So why don't you kind of get into your character and then we'll just bring.
All right, so if you got someone who's good at swordsmanship, I'm gonna go with somebody who I think is the best in her verse for swordsmanship, and I'm throwing out Urza Scarlet
I don't know why Urza came straight to my head.
because you know how good she is. Like, you know how good she is with the swords.
Yeah.
That's her whole thing. Requip, armor. I mean, people who have watched Fairy Tail know she has hundreds of different types of armor, different weapons that she can play off based off the situation. So if somebody is a really fast person, she has an armor for that to where she can increase her speed. She has armor to make her ultimate defense, ultimate offense. She has the most durable armor. She has special magical armor. Like, she has anything she needs, she can requip and put that on in an instant. Like, that's her magic in Fairy Tail, is in an instant she can requip her armor, requip her weapon, and keep on fighting. And you've seen the anime, like how fast she changes. It's literally in an instant.
Yeah, the only thing that, like, with her character and a lot of the characters from Fairy Tail, it's so funny, is they're at times they're the strongest people, like, in their little arcs. They're so powerful, and then all of a sudden they just need, like, Natsu's help in order to finish off the enemy. But then anytime it's just Natsu and Urza kicks the crap out of him.
Oh yeah,
it's so funny how even like Loxus and stuff like that, how they all need help in all these different arcs, and Natsu and Happy come to the rescue. And then when it's just Natsu by himself, he's just always gets beat by all of them.
Oh yeah, he gets his butt. He needs to see friends in pain to unlock that higher level of power, I guess.
Yeah, no, and that's the main character, philosophy that people use. So totally see it. But Toshiro, he's basically, to kind of go into what he's resilient towards attacks and he's physically strong, possesses mastery of both Shinpo and Shinigami techniques that let him move at high speeds to the point where he can pretty much teleport. And then he has Kaido, able to perform powerful spells with no incantation. His primary weapon is his Zenpaku, Zenpaku, which is the strongest ice type. So he's an ice type user.
Okay.
So he can release its Shikai form with the release of command. He uses the words like "sit upon the frozen heavens," which makes its blades increase in length and gives it a crescent-shaped blade attached to the hilt for a long metal chain that can extend and entangle any opponent. Toshiro can control ice and water by just slashing. He can generate huge flows of ice shaped like Chinese dragons that freeze whatever they hit. He can also slash at the ground to form a wave of ice, and the chain blade freezes whatever it entangles. There's just so much. When using his certain different types of his like Shikai, Toshiro can use the technique Tensojiren, where he can control the water in the surrounding atmosphere. Toshiro's last technique is Hyoden Yakuso, which is an extension of some of his other abilities, but he rarely ever uses it. The technique opens a huge hole in the clouds, making snowfall on his opponent, and then when the flakes touch their body, each one blooms in ice flowers, developing into a pillar of ice, and then 100 of those flowers bloom, and his opponents are dead. So those are kind of like some of the things that I researched and what I looked up. But so I don't know how powerful. He kind of sounds like that Gray Fullbuster.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is she has fought ice people before. Gray does ice weapons, but from what I do know about Bleach is their characters are ridiculous. They are super overpowered. So that's where it's kind of hard, because when you say he can move fast to the point where he's like basically teleporting, I think even if Urza puts on her, what is it, that like cheetah armor, I don't think she's reaching quite those speeds, because they fought that really fast dude in the anime before, and no one could keep up with it.
Yeah.
So I'm worried that she won't be able to keep up, and I'm shooting myself in the foot talking. I need to just shut up. She's gonna win. You pull out a Bleach character and it kind of hurts. It really hurts. So
kind of hard to beat Bleach, so I kind of wanted to start off with that. And I know he's not, the main character, but he is literally rated like one of the highest characters of like fans like loving characters. Like that's how much like he is in that series. So I honestly, it is literally on my list to watch. So unfortunately, I did get a character I don't know much about, and there's a lot of words that I can't pronounce. So I'm gonna act like a jackass. But
people are
just
gonna
reading
hate
on
us
what
and drop us this episode because we haven't
but just
watched
reading
Bleach.
on what he can do. There's too much to watch. What am I supposed to do?
Watch it all.
So
Quit your
I
job.
don't know. So I'm gonna give myself that one, but
I'm gonna say that since we're doing it Pokemon style, I'm gonna say Urza puts on her Heaven's armor where it's a bunch of blades all around her in a circle, right? And she's gonna flip and throw those at that guy, right? She might get a hit or two off. She's gonna break some ice. She's gonna re-equip a couple of times, maybe do the cheetah armor to try to keep up. Ultimately, she's not gonna be able to. But I'm gonna say I do at least 60% damage.
no,
I gotta
perfectly okay with that.
Urza is top tier. Like in the tournament arc, she took on 100 monsters.
She's powerful.
She is super
I just don't think the fairy tale universe can match up to what Bleach can do.
Yeah, and sadly, she was probably my trump card in this debate. So I will let you have that, but I'm taking that 60 to 70% damage there.
Oh yeah, I'm on one leg.
And I'm gonna throw out Gaara of the Sand Village, the Kazekage himself, to try to wrap it up.
Honestly, ice I don't think is gonna do much to him, but
I don't think so either. He has that auto defense because the sand literally cocoons him, like protects him. So he doesn't even have to really defend because it automatically does it for him. When he fought Datara, he picked up like an entire sand wall over the entire city to save the city from an explosion. So I think how this is going to play out is he's just going to expand his sand. And even if you can move fast, you're going to touch it. And he's going to get caught. And Gar's going to do a sand burial and flip and kill your dude just right there. Dead. Gone.
It's hard to debate that because like if I honestly feel like fighting Urza, it takes a huge toll on him. And I'm not trying to just do the back and forth. Oh, mine wins, yours wins, mine wins, yours wins.
I am because my guy lost.
No, but what I'm saying is I actually do think at that point, what are you gonna do?
Right, you're already hurt. You're already probably limping. You're probably bleeding already. He's probably not as fast.
We've already seen high speeds with Rock Lee, and he can't beat him. I don't know. I feel like Toshiro is a little bit better than maybe Haku, so that's the only ice that I can think of in Naruto.
Yeah, I can't think of any other ice users in the entire series.
At least in the top of my head, yeah. So I'll give it to that. And the reason is because, I mean, I don't even think I need to pull out my third character because I'm just gonna go straight to my hard hitting.
Okay.
And there's no way in hell you can defend this.
We'll see, because I got a character that, depending on what verse your character comes from, he could be top tier.
Okay. Well, I got Madara Uchiha.
Damn it. That is not the character I was hoping.
Literally, when you said Gaara, I'm like, well, there's no... I mean, you can't even get all 5 of the Kages to beat him, so how are you going to get, So I got a little bit... I know these characters, don't know what you guys know exactly about, all these characters. So I always try to get a little bit of notes of what they can do, explain my side of the story. So it's crazy. So as crazy as it seems, all Madara wants is world peace. You don't think it, but he wants world peace. The fact that he does not think that it can be obtained from simply coming together and putting like one side, a side's differences.
Being Naruto.
Yeah, and so, but he thinks the only way that he can obtain this is by using the Infinite Tsukiyomi. So, which is putting every individual in their own dream world. Which, I mean, who doesn't want to be in their own dream? I was kind of for him on that.
You're like, I don't care what's happening in the real world as long as I'm having a peaceful dream, it's fine.
Everyone's having a peaceful dream. So, I mean, you don't got to go to work Monday through Friday. You can just kind of do what you want. But
Just watch anime all day, every day.
yeah, so
Catch up on Bleach.
Yeah, so Madara, he was revived by Kabuto in the Fourth Great Shinobi War after Obito was defeated. After Obito was defeated, Madara and Black Zetsu found a way to kind of turn him into the Ten Tails Jinchuriki. He obtained both the Sharingans from, well, one was from Kakashi, and then the other one was from the dimension from Obito. He's literally basically the strongest shinobi. The only other one is Hashirama. And they kind of go hand in hand. So, he has the Sharingan, which is capable of reading opponents' movements and copy those moves. He has the, I can never say this word, Mangekyo Sharingan.
Mangekyou Sharingan.
Mangekyo Sharingan, yeah, there you go. It gives him basically the ability, you can kind of use the Susanoo, and after taking the eyes of his dying brother, he gained the internal version of it, which can give him multiple abilities, but mainly he can control the like the nine-tailed the nine tails and all the other beasts. When he has the Rene Sharingan, he gets that after becoming the 10 tails, which gives him the ability to cast the infinite Tsukiyomi on the moon and then use the tree to trap the entire world. Kind of their whole big plot point, So when you get the main villain of an entire franchise, it's kind of hard to beat him. So, he can literally just take down armies with his taijutsu. I mean, we all saw it. So he can use fire, and then he was able to use wood style after he was able to get some of Hashirama's cells. And I mean, his Susanoo is just as strong as a tailed beast. So, I mean, I can go into a lot more, but I just don't see how you can defend that.
Yeah, honestly, there's not much. I don't know if Gar really even does much damage to him.
Yeah, I literally brought out my level 100 Mega Rayquaza, and you're not gonna be able to do anything.
No, I'm not. So we're just gonna call it Gar's dead, and I'll throw out my last guy, but he ain't gonna do nothing. Even hand-to-hand combat, which he is proficient at, not gonna be enough. It is Izawa.
Hold on. When you throw your guy out, I'm withdrawing. I'm saving mine.
Okay.
I'm putting him in my back pocket, and I'll throw out my new one. So who was it? You said Izawa?
Yep, Izawa, Eraserhead.
Okay.
From My Hero Academia.
And what does Izawa do?
So, he is my favorite teacher to ever exist in any anime or real life. I don't even care. He sleeps. He doesn't give a crap. His eyes are always bloodshot. He is the best. Absolutely love him in My Hero. His powers are he can stop a quirk. See, and that's why I didn't know how well he works in other verses, because it's very specific. His power is to stop somebody else's quirk in the My Hero verse from being activated. But he has to keep his eyes open the whole time. That's why he's always flipping eyes bloodshot, doing eye drops, and taking naps left and right. On top of that, though, he does have the binding cloth, which he is an expert at, which it's like this really like flimsy cloth, but when he like throws it and does stuff with it, it can stiffen like it's hard as steel, and he uses it to trap people, to hit people, whatever it may be. He's also an amazing hand-to-hand fighter. We see that multiple times. Like on the very first season, the attack on the JSA, he was able to hold his own against an entire group of villains until backup got to him.
I'm just waiting, and so like I know, like I've read the manga and stuff like that. I'm just waiting for different things because Aizawa is such a loved character. Like I don't want anything to ever happen to him, but that guy gets beat up so many different times just trying to save everybody, and he is. I love his character to death. But...
Oh, I love him. He's like the most compassionate character, but he doesn't seem like it because he always seems like he just doesn't care, and he's very like standoffish, whatever. But he's the one taking care of Eri. He's the one that, like, he is the backbone for a lot of the characters.
I actually really like his dub voice actor. I really like his voice. That My Hero is one anime where I'd rather almost watch it sometimes, other than like the big fight scenes, because you can't replace fight scenes in sub with dub. You know what I mean?
Right.
But besides that, and when you're kind of just watching it, or if you're just re-binging it to kind of have it in the background. My Hero's dub is amazing. I like Bakugo is, as you know, is my favorite character of almost all time. Like he is literally my number one character. I love everything about him, and his voice is, I could hear it. I love hearing it in every single episode, so I can't get enough of it. But they do a really good job. And even, you know, as much as hate as Midoriya gets, I think they do fine at their fight scenes. And then, you know, you got Chris Sabat as All Might, does an amazing job. You know, he's in every anime. But you know, so my character, bringing him out, I don't know how this would work, and this is where you're gonna have a tough time with it, because this is a character I wanted to save because I know he is one of your favorites.
Okay.
I think you were gonna get a tattoo of his because you were a weirdo.
Probably.
So I got Hisoka.
I would not get a tattoo of him.
I set you up for that one.
He is creepy. He is definitely creepy. I like him, his character, other than the fact that he gets turned on by watching 12-year-olds fight.
You know, there is that part.
Yeah, other than that, like, he's a cool character. Like, his powers are cool. His fighting style's really cool. But the fact that he goes, oh, every time he sees a 12-year-old get punched in the face is just creepy.
It's just gone. So Hisoka, if anyone knows, I don't know why I have to explain these things. If you're watching an anime podcast, you gotta know these characters. But he is from Hunter x Hunter. So Hisoka, I guess he was a former member of the Phantom Troop.
I think he was a fake one. Like,
he was a fake one, but he defeated the former.
Oh yeah,
he defeated the former, which kind of made him a member of the Phantom Troop. But he was just using that spider tattoo as just a fake to eventually fight the main, which I didn't even realize it, but he was ranked 3rd out of all the Phantom Troop.
Was he?
Mm-hmm. So basically Hisoka, he's always searching for strong opponents and would spare those who have great potential. Hisoka's appearance is similar to that of like a magician or a jester. Hisoka is portrayed as entirely self-serving, self-absorbed, and very selfish. So he does whatever he likes as long as it pleases him. He's essentially just a murderous sociopath. You know, he has proven to be able to sense not only the presence but also the position of people hidden with Zetsu. So I don't know where like Zetsu and like Nin and all that compares to like quirks and stuff like that, but Hisoka can turn his cards into mortal edge weapons and projectiles. He employs them to instantly kill their opponents by targeting their vital spots. I mean, how many times do we see that? That guy killed so many people just in the exams alone.
At one point, he cuts off his own arm just to make a show.
Yeah, well, and then I can't remember too. I've watched Hunter x Hunter so many different times, but I know he's a transmuter.
Yep.
His main ability is what? Sticky gum?
Yeah, bungee gum. Bungee gum.
Bungee gum. Yeah, bungee gum. There you go. It basically allows him to make his aura sticky and elastic.
Yep.
I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I know it's like extremely durable, flexible. Has like the adhesive properties that make it exceptionally like versatile. Like it can be a very good offensive or a very good defensive.
Yeah, basically he uses it like if he throws something behind you, he could have his bungee gum already attached to it and then recall and you get hit in the back and not even realize it.
Mm-hmm. And he can do it when, his fingers, his hands, his feet. He can attach it to both through physical contact and remotely by extending towards the target, which kind of makes it hard to avoid. And that's the other thing. And if you don't have those abilities,
you can't see it.
You can't see it. So I don't know where he would match up with Aizawa. Now, if anyone compares the My Hero verse, they're going to say they always lose in a lot of different cases. With the Hunter x Hunter, I feel like it's kind of in the same. It just kind of depends.
Yeah, so I'm going to argue that, like, Aizawa puts up a fight. He's going to, like, because even without his quirk, his ability to be able to cancel somebody, he has a binding cloth. He's an expert hand-to-hand combat. Like, I think he could put up a fight against Hisoka.
I just don't think he does enough physical damage to him.
I don't think he does either. And honestly, with bungee gum and the ability to where, like, I think he camouflages himself or texture deal.
The texture surprise, he would trick the crap out of him.
Yeah, that's what I see is Aizawa's going to be tricked. He's going to get hurt. He's going to fall. And this is a crappy debate because I am crapping on my own characters. And I came in this like really hyped. Like I was like, I'm gonna win today. I even put it in the notes, like spoiler alert, like people. In our notes, we don't put what characters we got, but I put Dustin's getting stomped because Tyler's team is going to be dog water.
Yeah, if you look in those notes right now, you'll realize I switched those names in the beginning of the episode.
Well, you did. Okay.
So you didn't see that. So
no, I did not.
Yeah, I have a really good habit of turning you against yourself, so you kind of do that. I mean,
I dig my own hole, and then I lay in it and bury myself.
Yeah, but
That's all
honestly, you probably could have sent all three of yours, but the minute I saw Maru Uchiha, I was like, what is he going to do? Unless you're getting, I don't know. Unless you're getting Goku, Beerus, that universe, maybe. What do you, I don't even know what, maybe Krillin could beat him. But
Krillin solos everybody.
Yeah, so I'm kind of 2-0.
You are 2-0, and honestly, that's really annoying because I came in this with such high hopes with the characters I had with Urza, with Gaara, and then I was like, Aizawa, hand-to-hand wise, he's good, and I was hoping you got somebody from My Hero, and I was just gonna be like, oh, Aizawa stomps because he takes away your quirk. Boom, you got nothing.
Yeah, it's so funny how this generator, because like I got my character. I got my characters, and then I kind of just and I swear to God, I clicked it like a couple times after just to see what the different variety of characters are. There was a lot of characters I did not know, but the fact that we keep getting Naruto characters is hilarious.
Right? Yeah, I got Gaara, you got him. You had 2 last week. I mean, there's a lot of Naruto characters, I guess. So,
if I'm gonna get 3 different characters that I have no idea, it's gonna be a little hard to figure out who's gonna win, in a sense. But I feel like I have a decent knowledge enough of all the outside world animes that I can figure it out.
Yeah, same here. That's why I didn't argue the Bleach one too much, because even though I haven't watched much Bleach, like the stuff I have watched was back when I was a kid. It was on TV, and I watched a little bit of the first season, when it all first starts, probably the first 10 episodes maybe. But that's about as far as I ever got, and then I never went back and watched it again because I didn't have cable a lot of the time growing up, so I didn't stick with a lot of these shows very well. I stuck with Dragon Ball Z, stuck with Yu Yu Hakusho. Bleach is one that fell under my radar. But the stuff I do know is I know their characters are super overpowered, and I've seen little fight clips on TikTok and YouTube and stuff. And
yeah, I was gonna ask.
I can't argue that much.
I saw a thing the other day. If you had to choose an anime to get rid of, which one would you choose? You had to choose out of Dragon Ball, Naruto. I was gonna do 4 that you like: Dragon Ball, Naruto, Yu Yu Hakusho, and Hunter x Hunter.
I have to choose those.
Yeah. If you have
Dragon Ball,
one out,
Yu Yu Hakusho, Naruto,
Hunter.
and Hunter. Oh my gosh! So not Yu Yu Hakusho because that's probably my favorite anime ever.
I know you've watched it a couple of times. So
I just did a rewatch last year. I love Yu Yu Hakusho. Oh man, Dragon Ball, Naruto.
I kind of put you on the spot because I'm looking at your T-shirt
right
now.
Well, okay, so I got the T-shirt and then I got the Jiraiya tattoo on me, so it's hard to kick those out, but I really don't want to get rid of Hunter x Hunter, but I'm going to just because it has less episodes than the other 2, and Yu Yu Hakusho is my favorite. I'm going to get rid of Hunter x Hunter and keep Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, because there's just so much more content, and both of them are still going. Super's still going. Boruto, love it or hate it, it's still going, and I like it, so I'm fine with it. So Hunter x Hunter, I don't see it coming back for a long time.
And I'm really surprised because I know a lot of the times you dislike Naruto, the fact that they went into the aliens and went into the other planets and all this other stuff. So that's why I thought you were going to pick Naruto.
So I did have an issue with that originally, but the more I've read the manga, the more I've watched the shows, I kind of got past that. It's anime.
Thank God.
And I've gotten to the point where Boruto is one of my favorite mangas to read right now.
Yeah, I love
and
that it comes out.
They've gotten into weird cyborgs and all sorts of crazy stuff in Boruto now, and I don't mind it. I read it for what it is, and I'm really enjoying it. So that's why I didn't get rid of Naruto, because a lot of those gripes I had have kind of fallen away. I don't like the amount of filler still, and Hunter x Hunter doesn't really have filler. But my problem with the Hunter x Hunter is the anime's unfinished because of, unfortunately, the author's health isn't the greatest. So the anime's unfinished, the manga's unfinished. We don't know if or when we're going to get a conclusion to it all. So that's why I get rid of it over the others.
I look at the series as a whole. I see how all those shows have kind of impacted me. Now, I've never I can't do that one because I don't really, Yu Yu Hakusho's not up there for me as much. I know it's really good, but compared to those, like, I kind of just threw that one in because I saw one earlier that keeps getting posted around of, take one out: Black Clover, Jujutsu Kaisen, My Hero, and then which one am I forgetting?
Black Clover, Jujutsu, My Hero. I have no idea. Those three. Choose out of those three. Get rid of one.
No. I think the other one's Attack on Titan. So, okay. So yeah. No, and I can't even choose out of those. I sat there and I looked at it. I'm like, God, what would I do? And every single one of those, like, a lot of people could say My Hero, but I've watched that show just as many times as the other ones, if not more.
Yep.
The thing about Naruto is the what they did with the aliens and doing that other stuff. Like, yeah, they went so far out, but at least at the end of it, it kind of all went together, and why they have chakra and have these abilities, and why Naruto and Sasuke are destined the way that they are. And they at least found a way to piece it all together. They didn't just leave you cut and dry and you didn't know, like, well, where the hell did that come from? So at least there's a story behind it. And the fact that there's just, like you said, Naruto has so much out there. How can you get rid of that,
True. Yeah, and that's kind of how I feel. Is I did like that when they first got introduced. I was like, I hate this. But explaining that is kind of the source of chakra and everything, it was like, okay, that's kind of a cool way to explain why these people could do these, like, extraordinary powers and why they're so vastly different, and everything is like,
yeah, because everyone
doesn't come from this world.
Everyone's like, I just want them to be ninjas. I liked it when they could just, they was just fighting and doing all this, and then they have chakra, and then it's like, okay, well, you can't contradict yourself, because how the hell did they get this chakra?
Yeah, they're doing like flipping water dragons and crap. That is not ninja. That is
yeah,
full on fantasy, like, special power deal.
Like, where's your limits on where these abilities are coming from? So you got to explain it from somewhere, And granted, a clan that lives in, outer space that eats planets is a little far out there.
A little bit.
But I mean, every anime eventually gets to that point, right?
Oh, yeah.
You got Dragon Ball with all their gods, but I don't know. That's all I can debate for that. I think
it's fine. I think we're honestly pretty far into this episode already. About an hour 15 is going to be our average episodes at this rate.
We don't mean to do it.
No.
We're like, oh, let's do 45 minutes. And then I look at the timer and it's like, holy crap. Like, what, we're at 50 some minutes right now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kicked my girlfriend out. She's out in the living room. I feel bad for her. So she can listen to this later.
But, there you go. That'll make up for it. I'm sure she loves to hear this.
Yeah. So, the review for the week, we got a show, like I said in the beginning, that has been literally almost like rated the #1 anime for like 2022. Like, I don't see a bad comment about it, which is surprising because I actually I have a lot of confusing things with this anime. It is really good, but Ranking of the Kings, which to me came out of nowhere, like a lot of these non shonen animes. But what do you think about Ranking of the Kings?
Okay, real quick before we get into that, just in case anyone's going to click off here because we're getting into the review. Upcoming, we wanted to get out there and let everybody know kind of our next few reviews, so then you could start watching them and not having to click out at this time. Have a chance to watch.
You're so nice.
I am. I'm so nice to the people. The people love me. They don't like you. You're kind of whatever.
I'm just gonna throw out the endings of every episode or every anime right in the beginning. Talk about that.
All right. So anyway, next week we will be reviewing the Crunchyroll anime Tower of God. And then after that, what did we decide after that? I think that was God of High School.
Oh, yeah. Yep. God of High School.
So we're going to do 2 Crunchyroll original animes in a row. We're going to do Tower of God, God of High School, and then we're going to do a throwback review. We're going to do a Cowboy Bebop, which I've seen quite a bit of it back when it was on Adult Swim and stuff. I don't think Tyler's ever even watched it, but it's a 26
No.
episode anime. It's a classic. It's a beloved anime. So I thought it would be a really good one to do a classic anime review over.
At least you're not setting me up for 100 episodes. I appreciate that.
You're welcome, and that's what I'm trying not to do. Is I don't want to give you a ton of homework, but if we can fit in some of these classic animes that are just super popular and super impactful to the anime community, I'd love to review them. And Cowboy Bebop, it's high up there.
Well, and it's not all about this new style. You know, a lot of people
Yep.
still just watch all the old stuff, and that's
I love the old
perfectly
stuff.
fine. So why not let's review something that's a little bit older that maybe even the newer generation could be like, you know what, maybe I'll watch that. You know, maybe I'll give it a chance.
Exactly.
You know, yeah, maybe the animation isn't so great, or you know, maybe it's just, you know, since it's back in the 90s or, you know, early 2000s, whatever the anime is. You know, it gives you a chance to at least be like, okay, well, yeah, it's broadening my horizon a little bit.
Yep. And so everybody knows all three of those animes can be found on Crunchyroll. So catch up, watch them. So that way you can sit in and review next 3 weeks. That gives you 3 weeks advanced warning on our next 3 episodes.
Right. So we binged the crap out of Ranking of the Kings.
Finished in 3 days.
You did a very good job. Yeah, I told you about this one. I'm surprised you watched it as quick as you did for how long your list is.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, my list is a never ending. I've recently started Baki, the Netflix one. Just trying to catch up on my Kaguya-sama because season 3 just aired. And now all of our seasonal animes are starting to air. So, yeah, my list is ever growing. But you had me watch Ranking of King. You said, hey, it'd be a good one to review. And I was like, I'll check it out. Watch the first episode. I instantly fell in love with Prince Boji, and I don't care. I wanted nothing but Prince
Yeah.
Boji, and I binged the crap out of it, all because of Prince Boji. So, spoiler-free reaction. I dug it. It's a great anime. It's a different style of animation that at times feels lesser than at some points, but at other times it feels like it's fantastic.
See, the animation has nothing to do with this. Like,
No.
it makes it to where it is like just kind of almost a relief. You're just like, oh man, I can actually just watch the show and not have to pay too much about the animation. So that's the things with like Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen, and stuff with all the like the good animation is I always have to watch them at least 2 different times because the first time I'm watching it in sub, and I gotta watch the words. I don't get to enjoy the animation, and I have to rewatch it, and then I miss little bits and pieces. And so being able to go to a show that just kind of has, not trying to say it's the lackluster animation, because it's not very good by any means, but it has that older style that you can just appreciate, and then you can just look at the whole story alone. So I'll give like a little synopsis of just kind of what the show is, and then are we going to go into spoilers?
Before or after your synopsis, however you want to do it. You're leading this one.
Okay. So it is a story about a little prince named Boji, which, you know, I think 10 out of 10 people will love Boji. Boji, he is deaf, and above all, he is naive. Because despite many criticism from his people about his ascension to the throne, he does his best and dreams of becoming one of the greatest kings there is. So one day he meets someone named Kage, which is one of the Shadow clan. He's a survivor of a wiped assassin, clan that was among all the kings and all the people. He's the only one in the show who can pretty much understand Boji's words, despite unable to speak. The story follows basically the pair as they navigate through this world of knights and kings and royalty, and the only thing the thing I liked about this show is, you get a very good understanding of the bond between Kage and Boji.
Oh yeah. So are we going into spoilers yet? So I can talk
yeah.
freely? All right, spoiler warning. Now. Their relationship is a freaking greatest out of any anime couple ever. Like, they're not a couple, like a team, a group. their relationship
So
is
it's
good.
so funny. If you watch the first like 19 episodes, it's in English right now. So or it's in dub. So you can watch all that with the dub voice actors, whatever it is. And Kage to me seems so much more older in the way he protects Boji. I had to watch the last 4 or 5 episodes or whatever it is in sub, and he literally seems like the same age as
They
Boji
are.
is. Yeah, in the Japanese. So the Japanese or the sub does a way better job portraying that they're literally, the same. Their mindset, whatever it is, they help each other out. But in the English, when I watched the English, it was almost to me seemed like Kage was kind of like just I mean in both ways he's the kind of this guardian and protector of this little boy. But Kage just seems way more I don't know, he just seemed older to me as I watched it.
Yeah, I definitely got that same vibe. Like before we find out in like the flashback and him mentioning like they're about the same age, I totally thought he was like either an adult or like kind of like felt like an older brother character, like with how he
Yeah,
protects him.
I don't have a lot of bad things to say about this anime other than the fact that it is a very confusing. Like I'm gonna have to watch it again, not because like I just didn't follow it, but there was just so many different things that just kind of came out of nowhere, and the fact that these characters can, you know, you're gonna think they're gonna die, live, whatever it is. It's just it's back and forth repetitiveness between every character, and that was the only thing. It's like every single character had the same effect happen to them. They were gonna die, they get brought back. They were gonna die. Same thing. They get healed. Where are these people that get these healing powers? Why are they involved? And then no one else has powers other than being good swordsmen. Other than the underworld or whatever. And then they bring demons into it. They bring a lot of different things, and it all actually really fits together. It really does. But it's just a very confusing storyline.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of cluttered, but it works. It kind of makes sense as you watch it. But I had that same kind of gripe because there's some characters where it's like where their allegiance is at first, or at least you think you do, but then they introduce some random new character and they're like, oh, they swap back forth. Like to the biggest one to me was the spear guy.
Yeah, he was
What's
so
his
confusing. Names are out of the.
Appius.
We just.
I wrote down all their names so that way I could actually refer to him. But Appius, he was one of the 4 trusted guards. He was a spear guy. At first, he saves King Boji from getting his butt kicked by Prince Daida. And then he's on Boji's side of trying to get Boji onto the throne and all this stuff. And in comes Miranjuro, Lady Miranjuro, and screw everybody else.
Her story is so confusing with her and King Boss and what they, their tie into it all. It's just, I don't know. Like I said, I really liked it. I'll probably watch it again just to kind of get the other bits and pieces about it and kind of figure out more like an understanding. But I feel like it started off very, very strong. Like it was super, like I think I binged the first, I want to say 12 to 15 episodes within like the first night. It was a weekend when I started it, so it wasn't too hard. I have a life. but it does a very good strong, or it starts off very strong, but then I feel like it loses a little bit of that momentum. The fights are good, but then I feel like I don't know if in the manga or whatever it is, they jumped and they missed some pieces, or they were kind of trying to do some things, but I feel like they went way too fast. Because is this just going to be a one-off?
The way they ended it, I mean, it can be, or it could continue, because they end it with Boji basically deciding he wants to make his own kingdom and Kage to help him and all this stuff. But
and you could build off of that.
You could build off that, but at the same time, you don't need to. Like, they did leave some stuff out there with Prince Oken, and they also had at the end King Desa. He was going with he became the #1 ranked king, and they were going to grant him his wish or whatever it is. And so they leave that up in the air, and they leave Oken up in the air, and King Boji, his future kingdom. But like in all reality, you could stop it there, and this would be a beloved anime.
Yeah, I'm I don't know. I have a lot of things I want to say, but I like I said, I don't want to like ruin the show for anybody. Like, I understand we're going into spoilers and stuff like that, but their storyline with King Boji, I feel like is gonna get, it could get a little bit of criticism. With, you know, he's supposed to be this giant, you know, they don't really reference I thought maybe they would put like what he would kind of look like
if he was a giant instead of having his power stripped.
But the fact that they take his powers, but that makes him deaf and like unable to speak, I feel like people are gonna be like, no one's gonna complain about it because everyone loves Boji. Anyone that I've ever seen, Boji. Any critics. So I did look up, like, Rotten Tomatoes has it as like an 85 score. Now, I don't care what Rotten Tomatoes thinks, but I mean, at least they even got the Morbius movie right. So, you know, but I think with Rotten Tomatoes, they actually have a lot of animes like highly rated. They don't, whoever rates those styles actually doesn't do too bad of a job. So if you go in, Rotten Tomatoes would be the last thing I would think of to look at, kind of like an anime rating would be, but it gives you a good general idea because a lot of I think they kind of just do the public vote. I don't know.
Yeah, you can go off of audience score, and if the audience score is high, usually you're pretty safe because the critics are pretentious and think they know better, and they nitpick every little thing they possibly can. And I'm not trying to hate on any possible movie critics or anything that listen to this, but in reality, like, even if you are a movie critic, you know that your job is basically you're going to nitpick and tear something apart because that's what you do. That's what a critic does. Mm-hmm. But if you go to the audience score, the audience is more of like your general consumer. They're the people that are just watching it to see if they have a good time. So if, you know, you got a high 80s, 90s audience score, majority of people, they had a good time watching it.
Yeah. If how I base it, if I want to go see that movie a second time, I know it was a good movie. That's how I base my movies off. If I'm like, man, I want more, or like, and that's what I do with animes. I have a really bad habit of finishing an anime, coming back to it in a month or two, and then not for the fact that I do have a terrible memory at times.
He does,
but I'm able to see those little stuff that I missed the first time.
Oh, for sure. That's always the best part about rewatching, or if you have a book, rereading, is you catch those little things you may have missed, and it makes the story better.
So I know we don't do ratings normally, but you know, 1 through 10, what do you put this one at?
I would put this, so okay, character wise, love Boji, hated King Boss, and everyone else was okay.
Dida sucked.
Dida sucked. Okay, before I go into my rating, I just want to point out one thing. I don't know if you caught it. So the voice of Prince Despa was the same English voice as All Might, right? Did you catch the episode where he said, "Don't worry, I am here"?
Oh, God, no, I didn't.
There is a line when he says that, and I paused it, and I rewound it, told my wife to come in the room, and I told her, like, you know, hey, don't look at the TV. Tell me what am I watching, and I hit play. She's like, oh, you're watching My Hero. I'm like, nope.
That's funny. Yeah, they actually, perfect. I was surprised for not hearing much about this before the anime came out. The voice actor, I understand they reuse all these voice actors, but to hear, you know, Midoriya's voice as Dida, and then to hear, you know, Kirito or Aaron's voice, you know, as, I don't even know who the hell.
I can't remember who he was. I remember he was.
He was kind of a side character, but he's in there, and you can hear his voice at times. And so it was kind of cool being able to hear all those, and it kind of I love being able to grow with the character. So hearing voices that I'm familiar with, I was like, oh man, this is actually kind of cool.
Right.
And then you kind of hear, you know, a little different take on Chris Sabat's voice, you know, than normal.
I also loved when he found out his pony was super fat.
Yeah, that was a cool. That was a good moment.
So anyway, okay, to get back to my rating. So I'm taking into consideration most of the characters were kind of blah. Other than Kage and Boji, those two stood out above the rest. The rest of the characters were, to me, they were kind of background. Boji stole the show so much. He was so lovable. I absolutely I loved him so much.
Yeah, he was
But everyone
11
else,
out of 10.
yeah, he was an 11 out of 10 by himself. But taking in the animation style and all the other back characters and stuff like that, I'm going to drop this down to probably a 7. If we give it our loved, hated, or whatever rating, I would say I love this. And I would watch a season 2 purely for Boji. But if I'm giving it a 1 out of 10, I'm going to drop it down to about a 7 because the background characters kind of sucked. The animation style, it wasn't my favorite, but it was kind of like you said, it was a nice relief not to focus too much on that and just enjoy the story. And the story was a little convoluted. So I'm giving it about a 7.
Yeah, because they don't go too much detail of why all of a sudden there's just these giants in this normal world. And, so they have a little bit of explaining to do, like kind of any other anime. Yeah, I was probably going to give it about a 7.5 to an 8 just because of Boji and Kage, because those are going to be two characters that they will last the test of time a little bit. I know that sounds a little cheesy, but those characters they'll be in people's top favorites for a very long time. They're not going to be forgotten. So you're going to hear the word Boji and you're going to know exactly where it came from.
Oh, yeah. You better, because he is flipping fantastic.
Yeah, he's adorable. If you don't like him, then you're just... I mean, you probably don't like kids, I guess.
He's the best boy.
Yeah.
Give him all the rewards, give him a kingdom, give him all the money. He is the best. And I want to know how much that voice actor got paid to go, just the whole time.
I think
that's the only noise he made the whole time.
I think it was a female voice actor too.
Oh, I'm sure. Most of little boy voices in animes are female.
Mm-hmm. So that's all I got for tonight. So
all right, cool. So you heard it here. You said about an 8, I said about a 7, so we'll drop it 7.5 for this review. We'll call that. Put it in the books. I maybe should start keeping track of what we rate.
No, you listen here. Okay. 7.5 for the anime.
That's what I'm saying. I gave it a 7.
No. Let me finish. Okay. 11 out of 10 for Boji, and that's what we go off of.
Okay, so I'll put anime 7.5, but Prince Boji 11 out of 10.
Yeah, King Boji. Yeah, you get that right.
All right, well then I think that's all we have for this episode. Hit us up with any questions, comments, complaints. You want to sit there and send us some hate mail? Bring it on.
Dustin,
I don't care.
Dustin,
what?
Do we have social media?
That's what I'm about to get into.
Why don't you talk about it?
I am. Email us at whatintheanime.podcast@gmail.com. All of our other social medias, I don't know if Tyler listens to the episodes now, apparently, are always at the end of every episode given to you by a very lovely robot voice.
Yeah, you chose that.
I did choose that. But yeah, I mean, you can find us on everything. You could listen to the end to hear exactly what the social medias are, but you can find us on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. We have nothing on there, but you can find us on there. Facebook, we have a Facebook group. Again, right now there's not much on there just because it's hard to keep up.
We got so much other things going on, and I know probably everyone that's listening to this might not even do any of this. But honestly, if you just literally put out a message, put out a tweet, whatever you want to do on what you want to hear, literally we can do it. And so as this grows, I mean, you can be a part of it, and I always like when I can go to creators and I can kind of say what I want to say, and then they kind of bring it into their shows or bring it into what they're talking about, or just mention it in a little bit, and it'll help grow, give us stuff to talk about. You can be part of it. And it's just, I don't know, it just, the fun starts there.
Yep. And that's kind of the long-term goals for the show is we want to get to the point where we do these shows live as well as recording them for the podcast. And we'll be doing it live on Twitch and YouTube in the future once we get a following going. And that's what we want. We want people in a Twitch chat giving us ideas and comments or asking us questions. And if it's something we feel like talking about on the show, we'll be like, oh, hey, this user said this, and we'll talk about it. So send us emails.
People need to know that you're bald, and that
they need to see this.
So get out there, make fun of them, whatever you got to do. We just want to hear from you. So
hey, all the best characters are bald.
Yeah, well, you
I'll one punch you.
Yeah, I was gonna say Saitama, you end it.
All right. So again, email us. And if you do want to follow us on social media, the two best ones right now would be Twitter, because I retweet all the latest news on there and I try to get out, upcoming episodes, and TikTok. We do announcements on upcoming episodes usually, but also Tyler plays too much video games for his own good, and he does a lot of clips of him destroying kids in Apex or playing a new game that's out for a weekend. So just check it out.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
All right. Peace out.